Welcome to the Mindset Chick podcast. If you are looking to stop settling and want to gain the clarity and confidence to manifest the life and biz of your dreams, then this show is for you. I'm your host, Kristi Deer, sharing with you simple yet powerful and effective mindset tips that will allow you to attract more abundance, prosperity, and success into your life. So get ready, get excited, and let's go manifest some amazing things together. Welcome back to the Mindset Chick podcast. I am so happy to have you here. And today we have a very special guest, one of my favorite people. She is an amazing yoga instructor. I met her taking her yoga classes, and she's just a beautiful soul inside and out. I actually realized that she is my neighbor. She lives in my neighborhood. So it was so cool, meant to be that we connected. And I'm going to introduce her here in a second. But before I do, I'm going to start with our August mantra that I talked about in the previous episode of the Mindset Chick podcast, one that I wanted to just start every episode for the month of August with. So feel free to follow along with me with this mantra. And if you're in a place where you can close your eyes, feel free to close your eyes. I am a powerful manifester. I can manifest whatever I desire. I choose to love and value myself. I choose to let go of any judgments towards myself or others. I choose to live in faith, not fear. I choose to believe that the universe is abundant and abundance is my birthright. I choose to expect the best out of this day and all my days moving forward. And so it is. And so it is. All right. So Deborah Abrams is a registered 500 HR yoga teacher with Yoga Alliance. She specializes in the LYT Yoga method, teaching Power Vinyasa, Restorative and Yin Yoga. She is also known for her spiritual retreats, which she leads a couple times a year. She is currently working on a collaboration of upcoming projects for future retreats. She resides in Texas with her husband and 3 children. Deborah has a full teaching schedule in addition to leading in-house workshops in Frisco's newest boutique training facility called Karma Fitness. So Deborah, it is so great to have you here today.
It's so good to be asked to come on for you today.
Yay! So I want to know what led you to becoming a yoga instructor?
Well, I wasn't really a gym rat growing up. I didn't take kindly to indoor, sporting activities. I was more of an outdoorsy kind of girl growing up in Canada. I was a Girl Scout. I went through all the stages in Canada. We call them Girl Guides of Canada. And I went all the way becoming a leader and everything. And then taking that into school, I was a leader in school. I headed the outdoors club. I was a camp counselor for school. And in turn, during the summers, I was camp counselor for my nearby communities. And so outdoor activity was always my go-to. I was never really a lift kind of girl or whatever until I met my future husband. And he brought me to the gym. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll just go on cardio equipment and, look like I'm enjoying things. It wasn't until after my firstborn that the spin instructor didn't show up. And I'm like, well, I don't know what I'm doing out there. And I don't like on the workout floor with weights and stuff. So I don't want to do cardio equipment. Is there any other classes that I could be doing? And so that led me to a yoga class at the same time. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll go into yoga. And she kicked my rear end. It was a power yoga class. And she was my kind of girl, just this tall, very much in charge. And I felt at the same time loved, like it was all encompassing. And we went through 60 minutes of a power vinyasa flow. And it really did bring me to my knees. It's like, why am I crying? And why am I falling in love with this? Like, this is crazy. Like I had all these questions and it kept me coming back for more. So that was when my firstborn was 6 months old. And I followed her wherever she went. I not only took classes from her at the club, but I also, I'm one of those crazies. I went to her martial arts place where she also taught yoga because I couldn't get enough.
Yeah.
And I kept wanting to learn. And I would always ask her questions after class. I would be like, I'd hang out with her. And she's like, one day she just said, you should really look into taking, YTT, like a yoga course. I'm like, well, what's that? So one thing led to the next. And I ended up getting certified, but scared to death to teach. So what I did was I would take class from her all week and write out a yoga flow that was inspired by her teachings that I learned as a student. And I would prep the whole week to teach that one class.
Wow.
And when you first start teaching, you get the bottom of the barrel time slots.
Yes.
And so the bottom of the barrel, I ended up I taught in the evening and my husband watched the baby, and there ended up being like 30 people in that class. And that's what scared me the most because I was nervous about keeping on top of everyone, right? Thankfully, everyone was well versed already. Nobody was really new. Anyways, I stumbled my way through. I made a lot of really cool friends. And it just, the yoga world is so small. So I met some of my favorite people coming out of yoga. And I guess, as they say, the rest is history. I just stuck with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was all because the spin instructor never showed up. So I don't know what my path would have been had that spin instructor didn't show up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's so amazing just to think about that one moment. Like she didn't show up and how that led to where you are now in this path. And if she would have shown up, it might have been the same path, but like taken differently or taken longer to get to. But that is incredible. The one moment.
Yeah. It just cracked open a little bit of the gamut of yoga that is now accessible to us, like now, right? Mm-hmm. So this was 21 years ago. And now, fast forward to now, we have access to so much more. And so way back then, there was just really only a couple of styles, like methodologies of the yoga practice. And I don't know if they still have this group that brings yogi rock stars, as they say, into the city for us all to go and flee to and just learn from. They do mini workshops, Yeah. And I used to take up as much as I can from Baron Baptiste, Tim Miller, Kino Macgregor, all the ones that have Ashtanga or Iyengar backgrounds, and it all the power. And then, Baron Baptiste kind of coined the phrase power yoga, right? And so I was always attracted to the powerful side of it, Power Vinyasa, very athletic. I never took to Bikram though. Bikram is pretty militant. So, after taking it one time, I'm like, I don't think it's for me. But there are so many modalities out there. And I was just at the tip of the iceberg 21 years ago, right? And fast forward to now, there's just even that much more, which makes me so happy because there's yoga for everyone. You just have to find the right modality for you.
Yeah, I love that because when I was trying to think, when did I get my personal training certification? But it seems like it was, 20 years ago. And I remember my mom was like, you would be so good at yoga. And I'm like, yoga, I want to. I'm like, yoga, I want to do interval training. I want to run. I want to sprint. I want to lift weights. That's my kind of workout. Yoga, it's not going to do anything for me. That's like stretching. And I didn't do a lot of yoga for many, many years until recently I found you and, Alex and I, my husband, he goes every day. I haven't been in a little bit, but that's okay.
You dabble in it.
Yes, I dabble in it.
But there are yogis that they'll come every day, even with their other training that they do. They'll come every day to find that special release that they need. And there are some people who that is their form of exercise that they choose, right? So they come for just the yoga. They just pop in for the yoga. So there's something for everyone, right? And I also see students just pop in once a week just to get that tune-up, as I call it, in the body.
Yeah.
And, I was yoga, right up until my second child. And so I would be taking her to the gym with me, putting her in the kids club while I teach yoga. And that was the other side of it. Like I'm able to do this with children, which is really cool. And what a cool environment to grow up in, being active, like you're always thinking, how do I pass the legacy down? And so I'm like, I think I'm doing something really good for my kids as they see I'm staying active and I love it. And it wasn't until after my second at the gym one day, I saw my group fitness coordinator and I hadn't seen her in a while. And all of a sudden I see her and her body had completely transformed, changed into this machine. Like I could see she was a walking piece of anatomy. I could see every tendon, every muscle, just as she moves. I'm like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? So she passed her trainer's name on to me. And that's when I got into lifting weights.
You look fabulous, by the way. I mean, just absolutely fabulous. And yoga it's intense. Like, I mean, it's not just stretching like I thought. Like the classes that you teach, I mean, they are tough. I'm like, like I'm shaking.
Yeah.
Here I am like, oh, I could lift weights and sprint and, I lift heavy. And then I'm going to yoga and I am like, oh my gosh. I didn't even know that muscle existed.
Kristi, I'm a firm believer on cross-training your body and cross-training your mind. So what we're used to, let's say what you do like boot camp style or whatever, that's kind of like putting in autopilot. No matter how much weight like you add on, like when you weight train, maybe you're used to 20 pounds and then you go up 5 pounds. Even though that feels different the next day in your body, it's like, yeah, I needed that. I needed to lift heavier or whatever. You're still in the same mindset. You go through the motions, like like how to lunge, how to side lunge, how to do burpees, how to hold planks or whatever. And your mindset is there because you've been training your mindset that long. But then when you step on a yoga mat and it's just you and your body weight and gravity, and it throws you for a loop, it's like, why can't I do this? Well, it's a mindset thing. It really is. And so it's just cross-training your body and cross-training your mind.
Yeah, I love how you said that, cross-training your body and cross-training your mind, because mindset is such a big component in this and working out and yoga. And I love when I'm in class, I love all the beautiful mantras that you share. And it always really, I mean, your voice is so beautiful and soothing. It helps me relax and focus, be still and quiet, which is so important for so many of us. So can you share with us maybe one of your favorite mantras that you use?
The one that we used this past week, so last week, was stop, reflect, assess. The big takeaway that I wanted everyone, because when you come to my class, for those listeners who don't know me or who aren't in, the city to take my class, I teach the LYT Yoga method, which is a physical therapy-based yoga practice. And so every time you come into the class, it's very much a tune-up to your body. We get the core integrated. We get your big stabilizers, big movers, your glutes fired up because, like I call it, the snoozy glutes or glute amnesia. I'm sure you've heard it in your world. It's like we need to wake those suckers up because they tend to go asleep on us. And then the spine, resetting the spine. So bringing the spine into neutral, the pelvis into neutral. It's all encompassing, even before we get into our flows. So at that point, at the beginning of the class is when I get you all in that reset position so that you're ready and able to take on stuff when you're on your feet. And in that moment, I give you a mantra. So stop, reflect, assess last week. The key point that we took away from that was just because you can doesn't mean you should. And so it brings it home for those that have been practicing yoga for a long time. And let's say you're so used to doing headstands. This practice last week gave you an opportunity to stop at moments in the 60-minute flow and reflect on, I know I'm used to doing headstands, but should I be doing them? Maybe a straddle fold to get the spine inverted is just as good. Maybe dropping down to our forearms in a dolphin to traction the spine and to really incorporate and recruit the core is just as beneficial, if not, I like to say, the bigger bang for your buck for a dolphin pose. I really wanted them to take away off the mat into their life. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. So stopping in your life, reflecting on what you've been doing the past days, even months, and then assessing it. Like, is it working for me? Or maybe I need to change things up a little bit. And that can go from what you stock your fridge with, how you fuel your body, to looking in the mirror, the verbiage that you've been saying over and over again, like a broken record, to the words that you audibly speak to your children, your husband, your friends, and out into the world. You know, when you're standing in line and the lady at the checkout is just checking your groceries out and she asks you a question, are you present with her? Are you engaging and giving her just a little bit of joy from the words that you choose to use, just because you took a moment to pause, to be present with that person, and to just maybe strike a smile on their face. So it really, truly is one of my favorites. And we just happened to practice it last week.
I really, really love that. And we've been talking about that in the Mindset Chick podcast, the importance of just, being still and being present, and how sometimes we can get caught up in the go, 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 do, and how that can run us down, make us feel overwhelmed, tired, defeated. And I love that you do that. So why do you feel like being still and like just surrendering and letting go? And you guys even say in class, like letting go of the monkey mind.
Oh, my favorite. Oh, that's my favorite.
Yes. Yes. I know. I love when you say that.
That's
So
my favorite.
what does that mean? And like, why is that so powerful to be present and be still?
It means less is more. Just to simplify things, it just means less is more. So when you declutter your environment, when you start, let's say you start with a drawer, and then that felt so good. It's almost like you feel like, oh, like I've made room, not only for things that should actually be in that drawer, but room inside your head. It's almost like, check, I can move on and actually invite in something that I really deeply need to manifest. When you empty out drawers and you empty out closets, a good one is your car. Empty out your car and declutter your environment. You're actually decluttering your mind. So when you come into yoga and you unroll your mat and you go through that, it's kind of like you're in a trance, almost like I like to say, equate it to setting the table, setting the stage for Thanksgiving or for a Christmas meal or for a birthday dinner. You take extra care in it, right? All the little details. And so you're kind of like in a trance. You're setting yourself up for a beautiful occasion. Same thing when you unroll your mat. It's like you're in a trance. You come into the yoga room. You've done it many times before. You unroll the mat. You get your block. You have your water. You have your towel. And then you're ready. You're ready. And you lie down and you take a few breaths. And after having coming to my class, Kristi, I always say, let's take a few breaths to cycle out our day. In fact, cycle out our month. In fact, cycle out the moment you just had, the conversation you just had when you greeted your yogi friend that you usually roll up a mat to. Like you exchange a few words and smiles and embraces. You cycle out even that moment so that you have a nice clean slate for your practice.
I love that. I am so relaxed right now. I'm just listening to you talk and I'm like imagining myself rolling out my mat and being there. Oh, yes. That's so good. And I just feel even, lighter when you were saying clean out the drawer and less is more and getting rid of, the stuff in your mind, but it can also be, the stuff in your home, in your car, in a drawer that's weighing you down energetically and just releasing that.
And that's the key right there, Kristi, is your energy. Your energy, when you have so much clutter in your life and then your clutter in your mind, and that monkey mind is going like a broken record, and you just cannot get out of the hamster wheel. you actually feel like you're spilling your energy. Like your energy is being pulled in different directions, kind of like Elastigirl.
Oh,
If you
yeah.
imagine, but Elastigirl, that's her superpower. So, but it's not our superpower. Like if we're being pulled in different directions, it actually is the opposite. And we know this. And I've said this mantra before, you can't pour from an empty cup. So we're spilling all this energy out and we're really not optimizing our performance in our life, our performance in our head, our critical thinking skills. We're not on point. So when you come into yoga practice, when you do your practice, you're giving yourself permission to pause from your life for 60 minutes or even 30 minutes, Kristi. If you can squeeze in 30 minutes at home, and you're giving yourself permission to reset, recalibrate, and just let go of all the shiz that doesn't serve you. And you get to hone in on what you need to tame in your life. Where do I need to tame and pull it in and rein it in? So it could be with so many things in your house, in your car. Start taming those things. Tame your schedule. Do you really need to be going from one event to the next? I mean, there are only so many hours in a day, but do they all need to be eaten up by a schedule, one after the other? Or can you sit down and give yourself permission? You know what? I'm going to crack open a book in this moment, take a deep breath, and read some words on a page just to check out for a moment. And so when you're on your mat, you can just tame the monkey mind, because when you're going from event to event, your mind is going crazy. Give yourself that pause button so that you can reflect. It goes back to our stop, reflect, assess, and you can fill your cup back up. That's what it means to me, being on the yoga mat. Oh, I can fill back up again. And now I'm ready. I'm ready to take on the rest of the day. I'm ready to manifest what I want because I let some shiz go. Does that make sense?
Yeah. That was beautiful and wonderfully said. I love, love, love that. So, Deborah, what is your favorite quote or mantra that you love to live by?
Oh my gosh. I actually say it a lot. Go for the gusto.
The gusto. Love
Go
it.
for the gusto in life. And I'm learning this more and more. Like if you never ask the question, you won't ever know. You won't ever know. If you never take the leap, if you're always wading in the water, just getting the feet wet, you'll never know what it's like to dive in. And giving yourself permission to accept the no's, because really, truly, and I'm very Christian. God is my source. Jesus has the wheel. And I know that if it's a no, God has his hand on it. There's a yes just around the corner. So you're really not losing out at diving into new things, going for the gusto. In fact, Todd and I, we've been married 23 years, and it's amazing that we can still find the firsts in our life together. You know how when you first meet, you first meet the one, or maybe not the one, but you know what it's like to have the first holding hands, the first date, the first kiss. It's just such a rush, right? And you can't get enough of it. Well, it doesn't have to stop there after you get married and have children, whatever. Now, it does take work, but there are still a whole bunch of firsts out in the world waiting for you and your partner. And I just say, don't ever stop. Don't ever stop asking the questions. Don't ever stop seeking truths. There's always a rock to uncover. There's always something around the door, around the corner, and there's always a window to open if the door closes.
I love that. That's beautiful. Well, thank you so much. Just everything, just sharing your wisdom and your nuggets. That was it was beautiful.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, I feel, I do. I feel really relaxed right now. And I actually want to go, I actually want to go do some yoga.
Well, I have class tonight and I could squeeze you in.
I said it. Oh, okay. Well, I was like, that's
not to put you on the spot, sister.
I know. I could totally come tonight. I was like, I was going to go do it on my own in my office, but you know what? I could come tonight. Well, thank you so much. And
you're
so
welcome.
How can people connect with you and talk about your, where you teach your yoga classes and how can they connect with you more?
Okay, well, my current schedule, I'm teaching at the newest fitness boutique in Frisco. It's called Karma Fitness. And you can check it out online. You can get the app to sign up for classes. We have 2 rooms. Jenny Fuller is one of my closest friends, and I've watched her go from just being an instructor, a killer instructor, to opening up her dream. And so this is her dream facility. And she envisioned having 2 sides. One is like, it's the shred room. It's got a garage door and you lift weights. It's very much HIIT boot camp style in a group setting. And you can now take it outside to the turf. It's just such a beautiful environment and safe environment. The instruction is super, super spot on, really, really good. And then in the other room is the yoga room where it's infrared heat. It's amazing. You sweat your butt off. You have power yoga. You've got a stretch class. You have a class that's on Bosu balls and weights and bands. It's just good variety, right?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And Penny Dean was actually a guest on one of the earlier podcasts.
So that's right. That's right.
Check out her journey and her vision. Yeah.
So that's in Frisco. And then I also teach at Equinox. And that's like a large club with personalized instruction and high-end group fitness. And that's in Plano. And I teach 2 classes there. At Karma, I teach 5 classes. So you can find me there. I also have an Instagram. It's madewith.om. So made with om. And you can message me there. I'm usually pretty hands-on. I'm not too busy enough to answer questions and about yoga, about anything that I could, answer. Yeah. And I just kind of like to share my yoga there. I've been starting to trickle in a little bit more of my life so that you can get to know me. So
I love it. Well, thank you again so much.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure to come on and share this space with you. You are so awesome and so easy to talk to.
Oh, you are too. Love you, girl.
I love you too. I'll talk to you soon.
And remember, friend, to dream big, follow your heart, and never give up on you because you're worth it.
Thank you for joining me today on the Mindset Chick podcast. I hope this show has you waking up every morning excited about the new manifestations you have created in your life. And if you would honor me with a 5-star review over in iTunes, I will happily enter your name in my Mindset Chick swag giveaway. Make sure you add your name to the review and I will reach out to you if you're the winner. I really appreciate you spending your time with me. Be sure to visit me at mindsetchick.com for past episodes and more gifts that will help you to manifest your dreams into reality.